So people ask me how I make my reticles, whatever it's called. You find one of these and then you pick a color. So I'll pick this one for example, and then you'll take the RGB value down here. Okay. Make sure you take the commas out because Apex won't know what to do with them. So this is red, green, and blue. So say I want to make it really bright, then I would increase the biggest numbers. So if there's only one that's really big, then you increase that one a lot, and then increase the other ones like in descending order. So like if this was 230, then you'd increase this one a lot, this one almost as much, and then this one barely any or not at all. And then it would make it glow more. And since Apex doesn't sanitize their input in the files, then you can add stuff over 255, which is the limit for RGB. So I could make this 2000, and then it would just be really, really bright. And then you can also do negative numbers, so I can make this negative 5000. And what negative does is it, don't exactly know what it does, but it just makes it more solid, if that makes sense. And then at the beginning of the negatives up to like 500 to 1000, it just makes it like kind of wonky and transparent. And then after 5000, it's pretty solid. But I'll just show you guys. So if I zoom here, this is 25, 255, 255, that color I showed you. And then it looks like this with the random sites. So if I change it now to be, I'll show you the wingman too for a reference. So now if I change it to, what was it? Oh, don't leak anything. Whatever, I'll figure it out. I think I put it at O. Yeah, so O makes it negative 5000, 255, 255. And then if we go back to the normal one, this is normal, and then negative. And then if you go even further negative, then it becomes like black. And then no matter what you look at, it won't like blur it out. But if you're kind of negative with this negative 5000, it will just go away. If you go in bright stuff, or if you look at dark stuff, it will get darker. And then with the normal one, it just, the worst of both. But sorry, I forgot what key it's on. This one. So if I make it brighter, this is that cyan color, and I just increase the 255 values. And then if I increase it more, if you increase it too much, you see how it got darker? That's because it's too bright for the game, so then we'll darken everything in the game. So right now I have a 000 reticle. So it's just black for the flat line. For the wingman, it's little dot. And then just for different guns, it's going to be different things. Like this is nothing, and then with the Volt, it won't be anything. I think the triple take always has something. It will just be weird. Yeah, it's just dark. But yeah. And then if I change this to -1, you can't really see the difference, but in some sites you can. Like you saw the white coming out there. As soon as you go into negative, then it starts changing when you mouse over random things in the background. It's like the flatline one's now white with a black outline. And then if I use a 2x, it's going to be the same thing. And then if I go to -255, then it's going to jump to be like kind of like a rainbow. It's more red than anything, but it will just jump between colors as you're moving. Can't really tell. But this one's a little, you can see it a little better. And then with the wingman, you can see that ring a little better. And then this looks different. But as you go negative, it's going to keep doing that. So like, if I jump again to -5000, I'll get a sight first. -5000 would be that So then it's just thicker and it's more consistent. So like when I go in the sky, I can still see it. If I go back to the old one, I think it was this one, then in the sky it's a lot less visible. Just all around it is. But negative values will always be more visible than positive values in the sky, unless you're like crazy high, like you're like 8 million positive, then it's always going to be visible because it will be brighter than everything. But if we go to like negative 10,000, then it's just going to look like trash. And some people might like this, but the higher you go in negative, then the 2x won't really work. Like it will just be this blob. I figured out it's because when you look at dark surfaces with a negative sight, then it will get darker. And then if you look at light ones, it will get lighter. Can't really see it because this value is too high. But if you go like this one, it's looking at a dark surface, and then you go to a light surface and it will be easier to see. Stuff like that. So then if I go 3 negative values and one of them is less than the other one, so negative 5,000, negative 10,000, negative 10,000, that red value is lower than the other two, or it's higher than the other two, so then it will take the red. So like if I switch, now it's going to be red as an outline. So if you want the black with the red outline, you just do that. You have to lower the numbers if you want to see this 2x. Pretty much all the other sites work fine. Like it won't be blobby. The only problem sites will be iron sites that are dots. Like the L-star will look like trash. Whatever that is. But most of the other sites that are structured will have normal stuff. And then if you do 2 negative values and a positive value, then it will do a similar thing. So if I switch, you can see how the outline got a little more thick. You can barely see that. I'm switching between them. This is the 3 negative and this is 1 positive. 3 negative, 1 positive. And then the 3 negative, the red value's bigger than the other ones, and then the 1 positive, the red value is the one that's positive. That's why it's red. If you want a reticle that makes it so, what's the right number? That makes it so it's black with an outline of a color, then you just need to take some color. I'll just use green because that's an easy one. Both numbers are 0. So then the red and the blue are 0, so you just make it so these are negative values and they need to be like negative 5,000 or higher, depending on what you're doing. For some reason red is a lot harder to do. I guess because of how colors is in Apex, but for green, I think you just do this and then you just will get across here like that. I could actually go check right now. But so this is a normal green one, and then I think we're increasing that, so it should be like this. Yeah. So now it's going to be black with a green outline. And then if you increase it more, then the black will get like more prominent, I guess, because it's just a higher negative value. You can get some cool effects on the side of scopes like that. The Rampage and the Bolt will have that stuff. But sometimes they change when you look at brighter stuff like that, and if the negative value is high enough, it won't change in the sky, but it will be harder to see. I specifically tuned these so the 2x works kind of well. Like sometimes it'll blot up if you're looking at something like pitch black, but most of the time it will be fine. And you can tune it even more if you want. You just keep lowering the negative values little by little until it's visible on the 2x. The reason I use the 2x is because I always use it in game, so I was trying to make it so it looks good. And the 3x and pretty much every other scope always looks good if the 2x looks good. Only one that doesn't is the hollow, because this one sucks, but I don't use that anyways. And then, if you guys were wondering, every single scope changes except a few of the iron sights and the gold scopes, and then the Kraber sight. So like these ones will change, the sniper's ones. Well, didn't even pick up the 6x. It looks the same as the 4x10. And then, yeah, so like some iron sights, I think the EVA won't change because it's not even a reticle. But things like the Mosey and Beak will change, so the higher negative values you have to be careful because it will like make that dot so big you can't even see anything if you use really high stuff. And then with the Kraber, it's never going to change unless somebody else does something to it. But, yep. I'll show you the wingman if you guys want to see it. This is the brightest spot in the firing range, so I look at it sometimes to show you. So I'll show you a few more black with colored outline scopes. Oh. So if we're looking, this is green, and then we can change it to purple, or it's kind of like blue. Or that one's actually purple, never mind. I like this one, it's pretty good. This one, you had to change the numbers to be 255 negative 5000 and then 255. The reason for that is this isn't a normal color. Like the last one we used was this one, and it's green, and it's all green. So you only have one number to keep positive. And then with the purple one, wherever it was, oh, I already forgot. With this one, it has to be red and blue at the same time, and then the middle value is negative, the green. But you just need one of them to be negative to get this black effect. And then same thing with red. Just make the other two negative, green and blue. And yeah, if you want to see, this is blue if you were to do it. The blue looks okay. I like Cyan a little better. The blue's kind of like purple if you mix it with black. Can't see anything. Combining all that stuff, you can do things like make a bright green with a little bit of yellow, and then it will look something like this. Like a lemon lime looking color, I don't know. But this is using everything I talked about. So we'll do like a negative value to keep it bright no matter where it is. You can see it somewhere. And then it uses a positive value to keep it up there. So it's not like turning black in the middle. And then it looks like that. Another one you can do is like this one is a negative value, and then it's a really high positive value. So then it makes it like opaque with the negative value, and then it makes it really bright with the positive value that's higher than it's supposed to be. And then you use an even higher positive value on the blue, and then it's like super bright. But I like this one a lot. And then if this one's too bright for you, and it's like too bloomy, then you just lower the values a little bit, and then it will look like that. Whoa. The 2x works pretty good. But yeah. And I can show you the volt with it. Sometimes it's hard to see lighter colors in the sky, so that's why you add the negative values to barely be able to see it, but you could see it. Not if you look directly at the sun, but don't worry about that. A sight like this, or a reticle like this, it's like it's a really high negative value, and then you lower it as you go. So red's the highest, and then green's the second highest, and then Blue's the weakest, if that makes sense. The numbers for this one are negative 1,000, negative 2,000, negative 3,000 if I remember. And then that transparency is because the negative values are too low, or they're too close to 0. And then if you raise them up to like negative 10,000, negative 11,000, negative 12,000, then it wouldn't be doing this as much. But maybe some people like that. I don't know. And then this is that site with a positive value for red, so then it will be more solid. And then we'll get to that like transparent kind of lighter color when you go in the sky because of the negative values for red or green and blue.